Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about how you work with terrain in your scenes. So I've got a blank map here. I'll go over to my ground edit mode. That's where I work with terrain. And as you can see, we've got two options over here, ground and elevation. Starting with ground, you've got an add layer, and you've got everything's always going to start with one layer called the base layer. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a layer, show you how this works. And I'll go ahead and choose grass. You can see we've got a whole bunch of different options. We'll be adding a ton more options as we go along. So I'll choose forest. And one thing you notice as you start painting, okay, you've got the layer showing over here. You can start painting. You've got a circle option for painting. You also have a square option, which by the way is really nice if you're working inside buildings or like inside dungeons and stuff like that. But just feel free to use whichever one you want. You can see putting the painting down there. So now what you can do once you've got some terrain down there is you can play with the scale. And basically if you just slide it back and forth, it changes the scale of how it shows the terrain. So if you go all the way to the left, you can see it's really zoomed in there. So that's one thing you can do. And I'm going to add another layer of terrain, then I'll show you how some of the blending stuff works. So we've got some grass. Let's throw some dirt around there. And let's see, this is pretty much my favorite dirt. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint over parts of that grass with some dirt. So now I'm going to play with the scale a little bit for the dirt. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It gives it some good texture. And so now I got a couple options. I can do the blending here, and it's set to 1, which is it's not blending at all. I can slide it to the right, and you can see on the screen that the grass is now starting to bleed through the dirt and go all the way to the right, and you don't see the dirt anymore. So I'll kind of move it, and let's put it about halfway. So that's one way to do it. I'm going to change back to a circle. But another way to blend is to use this bottom blend bar. And so if you use the top bar on the layer itself, it's blending everything on that entire layer. But if you use the bottom one, I'll go ahead and move it over here to do a high blend. And then I start painting. You can see what it's doing is it's the new terrain I'm putting down is blending based on this bar here, not the one up here. So this is kind of a cool way to get some really soft edges between terrain layers, because you can see it there with the original green. And the more you go over an area, the darker it will get. But anyway, so it's just a cool way to blend terrain together, so it kind of goes together much smoother. And you can add as many layers as you want to, no limits on that. You can move layers up and down. You can click the red over here to remove a layer. Let's go ahead and do that. Lots of options there. So the other option here is elevation. So if I click on elevation, there's a couple things. You've got the height that you're going to set the elevation to, and then you've got the fall off, whether or not you want it to be a plateau or a slope. So let me just show you a little bit of an example here. And by the way, the height is going to, if you do a slope, it's going to depend on the size of the circle. So you can see right now I've got it set to 14 feet and a plateau. So it's a very sharp drop off there. Make that rectangle just a little bit larger. There we go. Let's go over there just a little bit. So you can see I've got that sharp drop off. So now I'm going to drop this back down to 0 feet just to effectively wipe out the change that I just did. And now let's do it again and put it on slope. So do that. I'll put it on about 17 feet and slope. And so you can see you're getting a much more gradual increase on your elevation change right there. So that's between slope and plateau. And if you put it on slope, you can also decrease it. And there's also an option here to clear everything. Just keep in mind that really will clear all the terrain changes that you've done on the map. So anyway, that's a quick introduction to working with terrain. And also don't forget that, let's put this over here at -15, set it to a 16, set it to decrease. You can also drop the terrain down, make it negative. So you can get some really cool water effects with that. Okay, And that's it for this video. I will talk to you later. Bye.